It's a bonus edition of the Book Club for Kids. Hi, I'm Kitty Feldy. Last week we discussed The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963 by Christopher Paul Curtis. This week we continue the conversation with our Newbery Award-winning writer, starting with, where did the idea for the book come from?
When I started, I decided I'm going to write a book, like everybody. I'm going to write a book. And I wanted it to be, I knew it would be more immediate if it was somehow related to me and something that I'd gone through. Much of what happens in the Watsons is not something that I went through. It's my imagination. But I had an idea of a family taking a trip from Flint, Michigan to Florida. The original story was the Watsons Go to Florida in 1963. And that's what it was. And I wrote it, and the family got to Florida, and nothing happened. It just ended, and I thought, okay. But I think I had the sense to I'm not going to just get rid of this. I'm going to wait. And then I came across the poem Ballad of Birmingham by Dudley Randall, a poet in Detroit. And it talked about finding a shoe during the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church. And I incorporated that all in. But it originally started as I had to have something to write about. I had no grand idea what it was going to be about. So I thought, okay, what better than to, get a feel for a story and how to move a story than to write something that you've been through and that you could actually put on a page.
You told us about the noise in that automobile factory, the place where you started writing. What happened when you left that job and were able to find a quiet place to write? Did you find it easier to focus?
No, because I don't like to write in quiet. I started writing in the library, the public library here in Windsor, and I wrote in the kids section, so there was always noise and always hustle and bustle going on. And I liked it because if there was something I saw that if there was a program going on for the kids, I could watch what was going on for the kids, and I could get back into it. And I could tell I was really into the story. As I said before, I didn't hear anything or see anything. I was just completely lost in the writing. And now I go to here in Canada. I'm in Windsor, which is right across the river from Detroit. There's a donut chain called Tim Hortons. And I always, I'd see people go in there writing, and I thought I could never do that. But this has been my hangout lately because before the COVID, it was open 24 hours. And I'd go in there and I'd get a cup of coffee. I'd go in there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd write until 7:30 until when I had to take the kids to school, and just had the routine going like that. So the sound doesn't bother me. And now I wear headphones when I write too. I've always had music playing when I write, and now I have it directly in my ears.
Do you create a soundtrack for each book?
I generally do have one or two songs that I just play over and over. I put on loop, which is the extent of my technology. I know how to loop on YouTube. So I put on a song, and I know for Bud Not Buddy, it was a song by a woman named Betty Carter. And it's called I'm Yours, You're Mine. And it's one of those songs where, I was driving, I got caught up in the sound. I pulled into the driveway, and I sat in it's like a 15-minute track, I think, and I waited for the whole thing to finally find out who it was. And it's a musical piece, kind of a jazz piece, and then at the end, Betty Carter breaks out into scat on it, and I just played that over and over and over. I don't know how many millions of times I listened to that song as I wrote.
So when you were working in the factory, you had 30 minutes to write. Did you prepare for that short writing sprint?
Oh yeah, that was I hated. I don't know if I told you this. I hated my job in the factory. I just absolutely hated it from day one. And I can remember telling somebody as I was learning the job, if I'm here after 2 years, take this hammer and bash me in the head because I've obviously lost my mind. 13 years later, I finally quit. But when I would start to write in the factory, in the 30-minute blocks, it was difficult because you would, just as you're getting into it, you get pulled out of it. And then when I'd sit down, or when I'd stand up to do my job, I would be thinking about what I was going to write next. And it's like with anything else, Kitty. The more you do it, you become better at it. You realize what you're capable of. You realize what works for you. So a lot of it was hit and miss. But what did I have? I was working 10-hour days, which meant I had 5 hours a day to write or to read or to do whatever I wanted to do. So it was really ideal for me. And I'm not the most disciplined person. And this kind of helped me develop a little bit of discipline where I would sit down and know what I had to do and go at it from there.
Did you ever get an idea while you were working on the line?
Well, see, as a writer, you know that because you know if you don't get it down, it'll be gone. And our job was we were doing it so fast. It was almost like a choreographed dance that we would have to do it. So we'd be able to do the whole job in half a minute that was supposed to be done in a minute. And in fact, we were so good at it, the guy that I worked with and I, that people from all over the factory would come and watch us work because it was such a dance that we would do. It was almost, I think about it now and I think about the weight of the doors and the sharpness of the steel and everything around. And it's just a miracle that I didn't, cut something off. And this is one of the things that made me really want to get out of the factory was when I did cut myself. And I can remember looking down at my arm. I could feel the cut, and I looked down, and I could see the bones in my hand. And there was about a 6-inch cut. And I just stood there like that, and it didn't gush for the longest time, and then it just did. And I said, okay, this is it. You got to go. You got to find something else to do.
We have interviews with dozens of other writers at our website, bookclubforkids.org. And if you're looking for a way to introduce civics to your students, check out our other podcast, The Fina Mendoza Mysteries. We've just released a pair of new bonus episodes about the January 6th insurrection and the mystery of the stolen pizza. That's The Fina Mendoza Mysteries, and I'm Kitty Feldy. Thanks so much for listening.